Okay, you guys, what is up? This is Ultra Senpai here today we have a Hunter x Hunter manga discussion. And this discussion is going to be heavy, spoiler heavy. So, if you guys only view the manga, or you're not caught up to the Hunter x Hunter, if you only view the anime, you're not caught up to the Hunter x Hunter manga, get the fuck out. That's pretty much how it is. Now, so yeah, I'm gonna give you like what 5-10 seconds to get out. So you guys, I'm gonna give you some time. So fair warning, do not watch this video if you are not caught up to the manga, and or you're still watching the anime and you still don't know exactly what's going on in the future arcs of Hunter x Hunter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So, this video is going to be mainly about the Hunter x Hunter manga, mainly about the Dark Continent. Now, the Dark is going to be about two things: the Dark Continent and Ging. That's going to be it. Well, the Dark Continent and Ging. Those are the two main topics of this video. And what may happen during the Dark Continent. Now, of course, we don't know anything about the Dark Continent other than it exists in the outside world, where it's outside of what the normal humans see. So let me get on with this. Let me get on to what McWhirlpoolinc said in his discussion video, because he actually made a discussion video, I think last year, on Ging and the Dark Continent, and he believes that Ging at some point in the series, it's specifically right around the time where they were about to go find out where they can find Greed Island. Remember Greed Island, the video game? We see that Gon and Killua at Aunt Mito's house. They find the box, which I believe, sorry about that. Where yeah, I believe it contains all the stuff, the memory card, the ring, everything that Ging leaves for Gon. And of course, how that transitions into the Greed Island arc. Not the Green Island arc, the Broken City arc. But what's important is that when we see Ging talking to Gon via a videotape, not videotape, a video recording, or audio recording, sorry, we see Ging for real. Like, we actually see Ging. This is his first appearance within the actual story. And he tells Gon about, how he wants, like, Gon to find him and stuff, instead of him going to come Gon directly. But more importantly, we see Ging. Ging is on top of these magical beasts, or beasts in general. We don't know what they are exactly. And he's flying towards something. And within it, you can see the actual world tree, or the world tree that we all know. And when McWhirlpoolinc believes that Ging may have actually gone to the Dark Continent, or at least might have entered, but not exactly like explored the entire area, because he links this to the Chimera Ant arc about how the Chimera Ant Queen, when she came into the human world, when she came into NGL, she was wounded and fucked up to the point where she could barely move. She needed nutrients, she needed food, and so that's why she decided to create the Chimera Ant Empire, and that's how she started eating humans. And once she started eating humans, the humans came reborn into Chimera Ants, aka their soldiers. And what's interesting about it is that McWhirlpoolinc says that he believes that Ging is the reason as to why the Chimera Ant Queen even came to the human world. He thinks that Ging is the reason why the Chimera Ant arc even started in the first place. And it makes a lot of sense, because when you think about it, the Chimera Ant Queen came to the human world messed up. Like, seriously, like on death's door. And when you take a look at Ging, when Ging and Gon are talking on the world tree, he says that the Chimera Ants themselves actually come from the Dark Continent. And apparently, and that's apparently he knows this, Now, obviously, Jing, he's always moving about, always moving from place to place. He never stays in one place for too long, and whenever he disappears, people can't find him. People's like they search everything. They search through the internet, maps, everything, but they can't find his ass. But the thing is that McWhirlpool says that it's possible that during those times, Jing may be trying to head into the Dark Continent. Now, what I find weird, because I'm not saying he's wrong, because we don't know for sure. What I find weird is that why would he want to tell Gon about going into the Dark Continent being his dream, if he's already been there and he's already met the Chimera Ant Queen there? And what I can speculate is that maybe he didn't full search the entire area of the Dark Continent. He might have just went into the entrance, and then he and the Chimera Ant Queen might have met. And then once realizing that the Chimera Ant Queen, like once he realized the Chimera Ant Queen's true goal was to take over the human world, at that point he was like, "Yo, I gotta take this bitch out." Once he tried to take her out, he failed because he didn't kill her off. Like he could only like really fuck her up, and he didn't know that she had died, that she was still alive, and that's how, of course, everything else pans out. But I don't know if he's right, but it's a possibility because, mind you, Isaac Netero said to Biscuit that Jing Freaks is one of the top Nen users in the world. That Jing Freaks is like powerful, like OP when it comes to Nen, of course. Physically, we don't really know how powerful he is, but when it comes to Nen, apparently he's one of the top 5 Nen users in the world, and he was a part of the Zodiacs. So obviously, Jing is incredibly powerful. And what you have to wonder is it true? Did this really happen? Because it can't be Isaac Netero that did it, because Isaac Netero didn't even know about the Chimera Ants until, later in the Chimera Ant arc. The Zodiacs didn't know about him until Isaac Netero knew. So the only possible person might have been Jing, because Jing, whenever he disappears, he disappears off the face of the earth. But you can tell for a fact that he's somewhere. Like he can't vanish and like disappear, like his existence is gone. He had to have gone somewhere. And the Dark Continent, or at least near the entrance of the Dark Continent, is where he might have been. But I speculate that he may not have actually gone into the Dark Continent, or if he did, he didn't fully explore it. Like he just walked around for a little bit, and then he found the Chimera Ant Queen by chance, and they might have fought, but the Chimera Ant Queen couldn't beat him, and Jing almost killed her. However, she managed to escape. So it's a possibility, and what he's saying makes a lot of sense. So I'm not going to like exclude that out of the way. So yeah, I'll put the link to his video in the description box down below, and I'll try and put the annotation somewhere on this video if I can. Now, let's talk about King of Lightning's video, because King of Lightning actually made a video the same year talking about the Dark Continent in full. And what I can say about the Dark Continent is, first let me talk about Beyond Netero. Now, this dude, the minute I saw him, even after they said that he was his son, when you hear this dude, he sounds a lot like his dad. Like he sounds a lot like Isaac Netero. He really does. And what I find interesting is that I don't think Beyond Netero is evil. He doesn't seem to be evil at all. Rather, he seems to be more adventurous, more dangerous, you could say, because technically he is going against the V5, and the V5 say, yo, if you go into the Dark Continent, something bad's gonna happen. We can't allow that to happen. So he's more dangerous in the fact that he might disturb the balance of the world if he actually goes into the Dark Continent himself, according to what the story says. And what I can say is that his goal may not necessarily be realized, or it may be realized, but it's going to be hard as hell. Because we find out at the end of the recent chapter that apparently Beyond Netero is going to be hunted down by the Zodiacs, because the V5 told the Hunter, not the Hunter Association, but the Zodiacs themselves, yo, you need to take this nigga out, like ASAP, because what he's doing could fuck up the world. And Beyond Netero, I mean, he already said in the chapter, I don't give a fuck. If anyone comes to my way, I'm just gonna crush them. All I want to do is see the Dark Continent. And he's backed up by the country of Karin, something like that, or Kaken. Yeah, I'm gonna call him Kaken, but something like that. That's how it's pronounced. I'm not too sure. But he's backed up by that country. But the B5 are like, you know what? Fuck this nigga. Let's go get the Zodiacs on his ass. Now, mind you, the Zodiacs are powerful as hell because there's 12 of the most powerful ninjas in the world, and according to the story, they were handpicked by Isaac Netero to work under him, kind of like a council meeting, a council, so to speak. And from time to time during Isaac Netero's free time, he sparred with them. He sparred with them. These niggas could fuck with Isaac Netero. And you're telling, like, yo, and the V5 themselves has so much trust in the Zodiacs to where they were like, yo, I think take out this dude Beyond Netero. They had that much trust in the Zodiacs to where they can issue that kind of mission, that kind of hunt, if you want to say it. So Beyond Netero can try, and he might succeed, but it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be by any means. The fact that he's Netero's son, Isaac Netero's son, is, it means that he's probably really powerful, but at the same time, it's not going to be easy because you're talking about Cheeto Yorkshire. Crap, I forgot all their names. I can't remember all of them, but I know pretty much all the Zodiacs are powerful as hell. Now let's talk about. Oh, and let me talk about something for a minute. I went on the wiki for Hunter x Hunter. Looked up Beyond Netero's page. Checked out his occupation. Apparently, this nigga is a hunter with a hunter license. Now, mind you, I'm really confused because from what it looks like in a recent chapter, they didn't know that Isaac Netero even had a son. They didn't even know Beyond Netero existed. But yet, for some weird reason, Beyond Netero managed to get a hunter license, and he's now officially a hunter. But apparently, no one knew who he was, or the fact that he actually existed until now. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, how did you guys not know? Not only just by his name alone, but the way he acts. Beyond Netero acts exactly like his father would. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, yo, how did you gave this dude a license and you let him become a hunter, but you don't know about this nigga at all, and you didn't even know this nigga existed? That's crazy. There's no way in hell. Now you could say, okay, maybe it's not necessarily the fact that he got through. It's because of the fact that he may have had some kind of disguise, or he changed his name, something like that, and that's the reason why he was able to get in the exam, and that's how he was able to pass and everything else, and that's how he was able to become a hunter. If you made the argument, I think that's a legitimate argument. However, would that mean that his hunter license is under a different name then? Under his disguise name, quote unquote, if he did use the disguise to get in? Because I'm sitting there, I'm like, how did he get in the exam? They knew his name. Or I don't know, I'm pretty sure they know the names of the applicants. And they gave him a hunter license. And they just let him in. So I'm thinking that he probably had a disguise, because there's no way in hell that this dude came in there, said, oh, my name is Beyond Netero, and I'm Isaac Netero's son, and I want to apply for this hunter exam. There's no way in hell would they accept that. And for them in this chapter to say, who the fuck is this nigga? There's no way in hell. I'm not even accepting that. So, again, weird shit. Because, the chapter, Togashi's been on hiatus, and he's not going to come back until June the 2nd. So, we won't know for sure what happened exactly during that whole hunter exam thing until then. But, listen. The hype is immense. Beyond Netero, he's not evil, but he is someone who's ambitious, someone who's adventurous, kind of like how Gon is. Although technically Gon, his ambition really is just to get stronger. Beyond Netero's Beyond Netero's ambition is to go into the Dark Continent. So technically they're alike a little bit, but not a whole lot. Of course, we already know that he's exactly like his father. So I find that really interesting. Now let's talk about the Dark Continent itself. The Dark Continent seems to be so important that Parison and Ging left the Zodiacs and followed their own roads. Because we see Parison, he's actually with a group that's surrounding Beyond Netero, and he apparently is interested in this too, because otherwise why would he be there? And when we see Ging, Ging is standing outside Beyond Netero's palace, really interested as well, at least from what we can assume. So for Parison and Jin to leave the actual Zodiacs and to head towards and to want to go to the Dark Continent. The Dark Continent must be on some insane level shit, and you can assume for at least a little bit that the Dark Continent might be similar to, well, not similar, but like you can see the Dark Continent as similar to the New World in One Piece, or the Gourmet World in Toriko, or the Demon World in Yu Yu Hakusho. And the fact that it's a completely different part of the world, but it's something that no one's ever explored before fully. So I think that the Dark Continent is going to be some epic NASA shit that's going to be like change our entire lives. Well, not entire lives, but change the way we look at the Hunter x Hunter verse, and even possible change the way we see men. Because mind you, the Dark Continent is full of other human beings. We're not talking about normal human beings. They said in quote other human beings. Now, one second. I have a second water bottle in case you're not getting thirsty. But anyways, when you take a look at the whole other human beings thing, of course they're all human. Probably humanoid creatures. Have similar aspects that humans have. That's obvious. But what I find interesting is that they call it other worlds, other human beings. No worries, I got shorts. But they call other human beings, and they also say that the Chimera ants and the magical beasts, that's where they originated from. So obviously, there's a lot of species that we haven't seen yet that may be contained within the Dark Continent, and I want to say this. I have a feeling, it's not necessarily a theory, but I have a feeling that the actual Dark Continent may be the leeway into a possible second half or a part two of Hunter x Hunter. Like there's gonna be some type of time skip, and like Gon and or Killua, maybe both of them will go in. Who knows? I'll talk about Killua in a second because I think something is important about him. But I think that might be a leeway or segue into the second half, if there is a second half of Hunter x Hunter. Because the reason why I say this is because you can't really, when you take a look at a Dark Continent, if it's this huge and might have other species, I don't think it's possible to contain it all in one arc. Despite the fact that this is already the beginning of the Dark Continent arc, I don't think that you can fit it on the one arc. I think there will be like a few more arcs dedicated to the Dark Continent. Although we'll probably go back and forth, like maybe like once or twice. But I think that if there is going to be some type of time skip, it might occur during, like, if Gon decides to train with Jing or with, I don't know, with Bisky or someone, I don't know who. If Gon decides to train there or decides to train in the human world to get into the Dark Continent, then I believe that would be a segue into a second half, a possible second half. Now, because the reason why I say that is because when you take a look at Gon and Killua or Leorio And well, should I include Kurapika? I don't know, but let me include Kurapika and Kurapika. When it comes to Gon and Killua especially, they've only begun to grasp their individual um, capabilities and then their Hatsu, if you want to call it that. Because they only have like a few attacks, and their few attacks have a good amount of flaws. Even though despite the fact that they're really impressive, especially for those guys their age, you could do a lot more with it. I believe so. Because when you take a look at um, Isaac Netero, Netero pretty much had like 1,000 moves probably, no, not 1,000 moves, but like he had a lot of moves probably because he had that whole Buddha statue, and then he had like the 100 hands. And I remember he said something about the 0 hand and the 99 hand and the 100 hands. Like he probably had like a lot of techniques. So it's possible that if there is a time skip, Gon may train for the Dark Continent arc, like in a human world, or he may say, fuck it, let's just go into the Dark Continent world and train there. I think there might be a time skip. It's not necessarily a theory. It's a feeling that I have because the Dark Continent reminds me a lot of the New World of One Piece, and then the Gurmai World in Toriko, and then and it also reminds me of the Demon World in Yu Yu Hakusho. So I think that might be the place. I don't know for sure. Again, it's a feeling. It's not a theory. So don't take it with a grain of salt, pretty much. Now, when it comes to the Dark Continent itself, what it may contain. Again, other human beings, magical beasts. The Chimera ants. I'm pretty sure are all dead. Maybe a couple of them are alive. I don't know, but yeah, I know Colt and Kite are alive, and I think the koala bear looking one is alive too. So, and that might be it. I don't know if there's any others that are living with inside the Dark Continent, but I'm pretty sure that's it. All right, that's what I think personally, because well, yeah, that's what I think personally. Now, when it comes to the whole other human beings thing, I find it funny how, and I think King of Lightning addressed this in his video too. I find it funny how there's human beings in the human world, the world of the realm that we know now, but then in the outside world, in the Dark Continent, there are other human beings, quote unquote. Like there's quotes before other and after beings, other human beings that live in the Dark Continent, and I find it weird how like they're split apart. These other human beings and the normal human beings we've seen today. And I believe, maybe, and this is a stretch, and this is what King of Lightning said too, because he believes this also. At least, no, he doesn't believe it. He thinks it might be a possibility that the Dark Continent may have been the origin of humanity. That's where that he thinks that maybe humanity may have originated in the Dark Continent, but they split, but they branched off somehow and came to this other realm or this other world, whatever you want to call it, and that's where they became stronger. Or that's where they flourished and became stronger as a species. But there's still a few other human beings that are in the Dark Continent that we don't know about yet. That are other human beings apparently. Like they're weak. Like apparently they might have powers or something. They just might be different. But that's an interesting idea because like when you think about it, where did they originate from? So we don't really know. But when it comes to other human beings, I want to see them exactly and see like what they are because they might have other nan abilities that we haven't even seen yet, like on some crazy shit. Like if you read One Piece or you watch One Piece or you watch my One Piece reviews, you know how we didn't even know about hockey before the time skip. It was inferred, it was implied, it was hinted at. But then as soon as we saw in the New World, we saw before we went to the New World, we figured out what hockey was. We figured out how everyone in the New World pretty much has it. If you don't, you're not really that powerful, and how it's a new concept and a new way to fight that we haven't seen yet. I think that there will be new Nen abilities that we'll see within the dark world, the dark continent that we've never seen before. That Gon slash Killua may have to learn in order to become stronger, in order to survive in the dark continent, and or Killua. Because again, Killua I don't know for sure is coming to the dark continent thing. And when it comes to the magical beasts, of course, most likely when we saw the beasts with Ging, how Ging was flying on top of them, the magical beast of course also originate there. But who's to say that the magical beast didn't move to the human world after seeing something got like some shit went down? Or maybe when the Chimera ants left, the magical beast was like, yo, well, you know what? Fuck it, let's go with them. Or something like that. Again, we don't really know for sure. But I think it's really interesting, and I don't know if Kurapika's Kurta clan was originally from the Dark Continent, because that's a stretch in itself. Because we don't know a lot about them. All we know is that they were killed off by the Phantom Troop, and that's the reason why Kurapika is searching for revenge. But what I can say is that it is a possibility. It's a possibility. It really is. But to close this video off, let me talk about Gon and Killua and going back to the whole time skip thing. If there is a time skip in Hunter x Hunter, and they do go to the Dark Continent, or they stay in the human world to train first before going into the Dark Continent, if there's any training period with in general, obviously it's going to be between. Obviously, the trainer will probably be either Ging or Bisky, and I think probably maybe I want to say Ging, because Ging, he does want to go into the Dark Continent. We've seen that, and Bisky we don't really know, but I think Ging, if there is a time skip and there is a training period with Gon and Killua, Gon and or Killua, Ging will be there, and then Ging might be able to actually train them, because Ging is one of the most powerful nen users in the entire world, according to Isaac Netero. And Isaac Netero, I mean, he ain't no bitch either. Well, he wasn't a bitch, because he technically is dead. But on that note, I do think that there will be more people joining in on the whole expedition. There'll be Gon, obviously. Killua, I don't know, because Killua right now is hanging out with his sister slash bro. I don't. Again, gender is weird, but I think Aluka is his sister. I'm pretty sure he's hanging out with his sister right now. Trying to see the world and protect her. So I don't know if he's gonna go into the actual Dark Continent, and if he doesn't go, I think this will be the actual first arc where we actually don't see Killua join in on the fun. He may we won't see him for like this arc, and then we'll see him again in another arc maybe soon. But I do think that Gon will go at some point. We don't know, maybe after Ging, maybe with Ging. Sorry, not Ging, Ging. Hisoka will probably go, because for a fact is on that shit. Hisoka, when he sees strong people, he's definitely gonna go in there and be like, yo, where the strong people at? Yo, I want to fight all these niggas. So Hisoka obviously loves to fight and loves to like challenge himself, test his abilities out, and test other abilities out. So I'm pretty sure he'll go too. Like I'm dead serious. Illumi might go, but I'm not too sure. It all depends, because Illumi, if Killua goes, Illumi will probably go. Maybe. That's what I think. Again, Bisky might go. I think Bisky might actually be like more of a teacher slash mentor to Gon and Killua, and so we might see her a lot more often. Trying to train them so that they become a lot more stronger. But it's going to be gradual. So maybe she might go. I don't know. But who else might go? Kurapika will probably not go, because I don't think she right. Not she. I think Kurapika will probably keep focusing on his mission to go avenge his clan. Whether or not the Phantom Troop comes into the fray, I have no clue. The Phantom Troop, I mean, they're everywhere when it comes to the arcs. Like, you see them for a couple of minutes, then they just pan out for another couple of minutes, and then they're everywhere pretty much. So whether or not they go, I don't know. But yeah. So I'm really psyched for the Dark Continent. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Do you think that the Dark Continent will be a segue into another time skip or another training period for Gon slash Killua? Do you think that Beyond Netero is evil? Do you think that he'll be like a really important person after this story arc? Like maybe he'll become like a new chairman or something. I doubt that, because Cheeto is still Cheeto's the new chairman, so I don't think they'll change that much. But but yeah, what do you guys think about that? What do you think about Gon and Killua? Do you think that their abilities can be expanded upon, or do you think or do you think that all they need to do now is just get rid of the disadvantages of their abilities or their attacks? Again, tell me what you guys think. So yeah, like the video if you like it. Dislike it if you don't. Rate, comment, and subscribe. There'll be 2 annotations. One, the King of Lightning's video. the other two McWhirlpoolinc video, and their channels being a link down below, so you can just subscribe to them. Please do. So yeah, I'm Oji Senpai, and I'm out. Peace, guys.